Hello everyone and welcome back to Queen Elizabeth, A Day in Her Life. Today we're going to learn a little about the Queen's favorite things and what were her favorite things. Starting off with what was the Queen's favorite breakfast items. Well, the Queen enjoyed cereal for breakfast, Kellogg's, Weetabix, and Quaker Oats. Her favorite choice for beverage was tea, Twining's English breakfast, no milk and no sugar. The Queen's favorite cell phone that is, she liked the Samsung, making her an Android user, which is very interesting to find out. Sweet treats. According to popsugar.com, the Queen loved chocolate and always gave it up for Lent, but on the other 325 days of the year, she had her pick of the everyday supermarket brands, Cadbury and Nestle, and the more high-end brands were Charbonnel, Et Walker, Prestat, and Bendix. Queen Elizabeth loved horses. Queen Elizabeth was given a Shetland pony named Peggy by her grandfather George V, and that started her lifetime love of horses. And we all know Queen Elizabeth loved dogs. I think most of us know that. And she had dogs during her childhood, but her first corgi she got when she was 18. The dog's name was Susan, and Susan had puppies, and so the corgi generations lived on throughout Elizabeth's life. And Her Majesty owned more than 30 corgis and dorgies during her lifetime. Gardening. Queen Elizabeth began this hobby kind of late in life. She was 91 when she became interested in gardening. She had been to the Chelsea Flower Show in 2018, and that is when she became interested in flowers. This is a unique hobby coming up, pigeon racing. There have been avid pigeon racers among the royals since 1886, and they did the racing at Sandringham, and King Edward and King George loved the hobby. According to BritishHeritage.com, during World War II, the pigeons of the estate were enlisted as carrier pigeons and ended up returning to the estate once the war was over. Queen Elizabeth remained the patron of several pigeon racing charities until her death in 2022. Next up, stamp collecting. Queen Elizabeth enjoyed her hobby, and the stamps she collected were worth over £2 million. Queen Elizabeth's favorite foods. The Queen's former chef, Darren McGrady, who worked with the Queen for 11 years, gave an insight to what the Queen enjoyed eating. She said the Queen was a chocoholic, and anything with chocolate on the menu she went for. Her favorite dessert was chocolate perfection pie. Savory favorites, here the chef said, for a main course she loved game, things like Gallic steak, filet steak with a mushroom whiskey sauce, especially if we did it with venison. For a first course she loved the Gleneagles pate, which is smoked salmon, trout, and mackerel. She loved using the ingredients off the estate, so if we had salmon from Balmoral from River Dee, she would have that. It was one of her favorites, and we used a repertoire of dishes, mainly British and French food. We cooked a lot of traditional French food like halibut on a bed of spinach with Mornay sauce. The chef added that the Queen was never a foodie. She always ate to live rather than live to eat. But Prince Philip was a foodie. He'd want to try any new dishes all the time, and he got excited over new ingredients. Whereas the Queen, if we had a new recipe, she'd have to look at the whole recipe before saying, yes, okay, let's try it. But for the most part, she stuck to the same dishes week in and week out. Okay, next up we have the Queen's favorite TV shows and movie. According to farout.co.uk, popular rumors suggested that the late Liz was a fan of several BBC shows, including Pointless, Antiques Roadshow, and Strictly Come Dancing. With Camilla, now the Queen Consort, once revealing that she did watch the popular dancing show. Aside from the somewhat predictable TV shows, we also know that the Queen was an unlikely fan of Twin Peaks. She once turned down an opportunity to hear Paul McCartney set, instead to watch the latest episode of the David Lynch series. Although many consider the latest Twin Peaks to be an elongated movie, the truth is the Queen's favorite movie was an entirely different fantasy flick. Back in 2020, the British cult icon Brian Bless claimed that the Queen's favorite film was actually one of his own, saying in 1980, sci-fi Flash Gordon was adored by the monarch. In a conversation with Yahoo Movies, Bless stated, "The Queen, it's her favorite film, and that she watched it with her grandchildren every year. And that's neat that she went for a fantasy film and that she created the tradition with her grandkids watching it with them during Christmas time. The Queen's favorite color. The Queen's favorite color was blue. Blue is a color that is deeply rooted in royal history and has long been associated with the monarchy, art, military, business. No wonder she loved that color so much. The Queen's favorite song. According to the Queen's cousin, her favorite song was "The Lord is My Shepherd." And then other songs she liked were Oklahoma, because she liked the Broadway show tunes, by Howard Keel, Anything You Can Do from Annie Get Your Gun by Dolores Gray and Bill Johnson, Sing by Gary Barlow and Commonwealth Band featuring the Military Wives, Cheek to Cheek by Fred Astaire, The White Cliffs of Dover by Vera Lynn, Leaning on a Lamppost by George Formby, Praise My Soul, the King of Heaven, and Lester Lannan Melody, Regimental March, Milanolo. I thought that since it was Christmas season, I would make a video of the Queen Elizabeth's favorite things, and it shows how full of life she was and how she had a great many interests. The Queen seemed down to earth, and it seemed like she had great taste. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed the video. If you did, if you could give it a thumbs up, that would be great. And if you'd like to subscribe, that would be good too. I hope everybody's been having a good day, and tune in again soon to another episode of Queen Elizabeth, A Day in Her Life. Thank you. Bye.